ordinary National Executive Committee meeting. This is the first ordinary meeting we've had after the 29 May elections. The last meeting we had was a special National Executive Committee meeting which had to consider the approach of the ANC at the time to the formation of government in the context of the constitutional prescript that government must be formed within 14 days after elections have been declared. So this NEC is going to be the first official meeting of the National Executive Committee where the ANC considers the elections outcomes and takes a deep dive into the analysis of data from VD level to wards and local municipalities. Then we will come up with a concrete action plan for structures of the organization after assessing the state of the organization, of course. The idea is to build an ANC with the capacity to recover lost ground, but also with the capacity to effectively lead the government of national unity and the government of provincial unity in the provinces where we are working with other political parties. Over the past 2 months, the National Executive Committee has engaged with structures of the ANC across all regions, and we are now working on the basis of insights that we've derived from that level. We are quite confident that out of this meeting, we will have a very clear sense of what to do in order to regain lost ground. The NEC meeting is going to take 3 days, from today, the 1st till the 3rd. From the 4th to the 6th, we are going to have what is called the NEC Lekgotla. It will include deployed cadres of the ANC who are ministers in government and deputy ministers, as well as premiers of provinces and executive mayors. The idea is to provide the ANC across the board with a coherent and seamless plan of action on what to do as we prepare especially for the local government elections. So that is what is on the agenda. Those are the issues under consideration, and we will regularly talk to members of the media during the course of the National Executive Committee. Today is going to be a series of discussions, presentations that will be made by different units and departments of the ANC to consider the state of affairs, including the national balance of forces, including the international situation and how the ANC should respond to those dynamics. When all of those have been presented and discussed, we will come back to provide members of the media with updates on what the discussions inside are. Thank you very much.
No questions?
No questions. Thank you. Fine.
Okay.
Are we good? Hello, Makai. Yes.
It's actually about the NEC report.
Yes.
You're saying that it's you're going to be, you've invited deployees in the government as well, HODs, DGs, I imagine. How is that going to work with those that are deployed by other parties?
I did not mention HODs and DGs. I only mentioned ministers, deputy ministers, mayors and premiers. We're inviting those who are ANC members only. Yes.
In fact, maybe to drive away the question of Siamtan, as it relates to your deployees in these provincial governments of national unity and the government of national unity, how do you enforce ANC policy where there are other parties?
Well, ANC policy has already found its way into the GNU statement of intent. If you read it and you contrast it with the ANC manifesto, those 6 priorities are at the heart of what is in the statement of intent. The key issue now is not to introduce new policy as such, but to really work on an effective implementation framework. That is what we need them to do. You know, one of the major issues that the electorate has beaten us for is the fact that we don't implement the very things that we've said to them we will do. So we need to get the deployees to understand that it's business unusual. All of us must work with that mantra, and that now head office is going to be much more stricter in enforcing a single line. Anyone who deviates from the single line, there will be consequences to deal with. Yeah.
Okay, Ntebo with the SABC.
Yes, Debo.
You're saying that ANC policies, including the 6 key priorities, will be articulated within the GNU, within the context of the GNU. But over the next 5 years, for instance, from 2024 to 2029, when you go to elections, what would have been implemented would be the GNU or the government policies, not the ANC policies. How then do you envisage that at the end, the people of South Africa or the voters will judge the ANC? Aren't you going to have a problem whereby you're going to be judged like this is what the GNU, the achievement of the GNU, not the achievement of the ANC? Don't you think that would be a problematic in terms of really saying this is what the ANC has achieved in the next 5 years?
I don't think so. I think the South African electorate is smart enough to know who's who in the zoo. I don't think there will be doubt who is in the Department of Trade and Industry. When they see me in the Department of Trade and Industry, they know for a fact who they are looking at. But the key task will be the capacity of the ANC to assert a permanent presence in public imagination and have ANC deployees asserting themselves as the leaders of government and being effective on that front. All political parties at the end of this cycle will make an attempt to suggest that the progress in government is on the basis of their own intervention. So the electorate will have to make up its mind on that front. And the ANC is determined to build its organizational capacity to not only be effective in government, but to have South Africans understand that the progress they see is a product of the ANC's own actions. I say this as an ANC deployee in government. I have no fear of any other political party, and I have no illusion that whatever we do in government will be understood to be the work of the ANC. And I know South Africans now are already aware that what is written in the statement of intent is seamlessly taken from the ANC manifesto. When they hear us defending the people of Palestine, they know exactly who's talking. When they hear us asserting the need for BRICS to be a strategic partner of South Africa, they know exactly who's talking. When they hear us talking about the AFC FTA, they know exactly who's talking. When they hear us saying the mantra of government now is going to be industrial policy, South Africans know exactly who's speaking. So I have absolutely no qualms about who they will know did the work of government by 2029.
Sorry, will the meeting discuss how to handle political disagreements with other GNU partners, and I'm talking about GNU partners specifically litigating against ANC policies such as cable deployment, NHI, Villa Bill, and just the other day the DA was in court against the president. I mean, we have cases against the deputy president. How does the ANC plan to?
Sure, we certainly, there will be a discussion, of course, about the GNU and how the ANC must strategically approach the differences that might arise. But even in the GNU context, there is a pending discussion about establishing a political deadlock resolution mechanism. So that process is underway, and the NEC will consider how to better handle that. We know that we can't stop political parties from being who they are. We can't ask of them not to litigate when they have to, but we think we'll find a way to manage it. Thank you very much.